Happy Tuesday, Grand City weather. We got a lot to talk about and a lot going on with our first potential big winter storm of the winter here. And looking at our high for today, it's 40 degrees, and you might say, well, I thought it was supposed to snow. Well, it's going to, and that high was actually earlier this morning. It's going to be continuing to drop in temperatures as we head throughout the day as this system continues to impact us. But that also means that likely when this system first starts, we're going to be seeing rain right early this afternoon, and then it's going to probably take about an hour. It's going to happen really, really quickly. We're going to switch over from that rain to the snow, and that snow, because we're going to be on that transition zone, means it's going to be more of that wet, kind of sticky, slushy, just really more annoying snow. It's also going to be really, really heavy. We could see those snow accumulation rates right around an inch per hour. So the fact that it's going to be snowing that quickly means it's going to stick to the ground, despite the fact that our roads, our sidewalks, the grassy areas, they're all relatively warm still, haven't really frozen over, but just the fact that it's going to be snowing that quickly means it's going to accumulate. And from there, we all know snow just continues to accumulate, and it's really not going to melt much because our temperatures are going to stay below freezing. And like I said, temperatures dropping throughout the overnight hours, low around 23, which means we're also going to continue to see a little more fluffy snow as we head throughout the day. So initially it's going to be that very, very wet, heavy snow, but we'll continue to see it get a little more fluffy throughout the day. Unfortunately, that also means that we're going to see the potential for some more blowing snow, which is going to add yet another impact to travel and basically just if you're going to be outside. So this is our storm system. Our low pressure it'll continue to traverse across southern Minnesota, and it puts central Minnesota in a great spot. Basically, you find a lot of that snow and accumulation on the northwestern side of these low pressure systems, and you can see, well, that's right where central Minnesota is. So not lacking any moisture, not lacking that cold air. It's a beautiful, perfect setup for us to see a good chunk of snow here across central Minnesota. And because of all this, they have issued plenty of watches, warnings, and advisories here in effect for much of our day today. So this pink is going to be the winter storm warning. That's across much of central Minnesota here. They extended a good chunk of this to southern Minnesota. It basically stopped right at St. Cloud as of last night, and this morning they pushed it on further southward. So Twin Cities up towards St. Cloud and on north of that winter storm warning is going to be mostly for the fact that they could see over 6 inches of snow. That's kind of like the main bottom criteria for a winter storm warning. But if you notice, they did push it further south, which means that not necessarily they're going to see 6 inches of snow. They'll see a couple inches of snow, but it's mostly for the fact that it's going to be super, super windy on the as this system continues to strengthen right over us, which means blowing snow is going to be a possibility. When it's snowing, we could see whiteout conditions just because it's going to be blowing snow. It's going to be snowing super heavy. So that's the reason why they have those winter storm warnings across for southern Minnesota. And then we do see that winter weather advisory in a few areas across just outside of that winter storm warning. Impacts aren't going to be as bad, especially with the blowing snow, and they're also not going to be seeing just as much snow in general. So should be still not going to be great outside, but it's not going to be as bad as parts of central Minnesota. So in terms of overall snowfall, St. Cloud's sitting right around that 3 to 7 inches. It's probably going to be close to somewhere within that range, especially in terms of the fact that we've seen those models continue to shift our snow further and further southward. As of about 2 days ago, this heavier band of snow was about 50 to 70 miles further to our north. And just because of the fact that we've seen that system show that it's going to be stronger, it's going to be a little bit further south, which means deeper, which allows some more cold air to really build into our region. That means that that's heaviest snow, like I said, on the northwest side of that low is going to be a little further south, which means it's going to be closer towards the St. Cloud region, which is why we've seen our snow totals over the last few days continue to gradually increase as we've had throughout those days. So the best chance of snow is going to be across the south shores of Lake Superior because they're going to be seeing some lake effect snow. They could see upwards of a couple of feet of snow. Nothing like that here in central Minnesota, but wouldn't surprise me to see some pretty decent snow totals come here across a good chunk of central Minnesota. And even the Twin Cities now is starting to look a little bit more likely in terms of the fact they could see multiple inches of accumulation. And then by the time we head into our day on Wednesday, this low pressure system, that's kind of the one that's causing all this mess, continue to push its way off to the northeast. It's going to leave some stronger winds behind for our day, some more blowing snow, maybe a few scattered showers early Wednesday morning. But by the time we head throughout the afternoon, this system should be mostly out of here in terms of impacts, and that should leave a pretty nice day around, besides the fact it should be a little bit cooler for our day on Thanksgiving with high pressure. But these low pressure systems moving across the Colorado Rockies. That's going to be our next storm system to watch later on for the weekend. And like the fact that kind of what the National Weather Service does with if we're going to see a white Christmas or not, they also do one for Thanksgiving. And we haven't seen more than 3 inches on the ground since 2019, and this is probably going to be the first year since then that we'll really see any sort of snow on the ground for Thanksgiving. It's been quite a while, and honestly, our temperatures, well, they're not going to really get cold enough. You can see no temperature here really is going to be below freezing, which means that snow is going to be sticking around. So 27 for our day tomorrow. Those early scattered snow showers and some blowing snow, that will continue to work its way out of here. Thursday, temperatures will be down into those mid to lower 20s for our highs. Look at that, 7 for a low. It's not even going to be the coldest low here. We'll get to that here in a second. We'll see a little more sunshine though, but those clouds work back in on Friday. High of 21. That's all going to be ahead of our next storm system that we could see on Saturday, where we're looking at probably most of it staying to our south, which is good news, at least here in St. Cloud. We're not going to have to deal with any more real travel impacts, but there's still a chance we could see a few inches, but it's still a little far out, so we'll keep an eye on it, keep you guys updated as things get closer, but just heads up, there's a potential for a little more snow for a day on Saturday. Then behind that on Sunday, snow showers clear out, but look at that, the low of 3. So we're gonna get really, really close to seeing our first negative of the year late Saturday or late Sunday night. So make sure to follow us on X, Instagram, and TikTok for more of their updates.